live radio, local podcasts, the Frederick Podcast Network at listenfrederick.com.
Hey, today, you guys, on Terrible Talk, this is actually episode 5, and we're blown away we've gotten this far, to be honest with you. We love doing the show. It's been interesting. We're moving through the off season, which the NFL really, you guys, has no off season, but we're moving through the off season like the NFL's moving through the off season. So this week is the NFL Combine out in Indianapolis. And tonight we have Noah Strackbein jumping on with us. He's been on the show before. He's been on the Original Sports Podcast. But Noah's going to jump on with us tonight and give us the lowdown on everything he's hearing and seeing thus far out in Indianapolis. My plan for this group next year is to be in Indianapolis for this. It's a Thursday, Friday. It's a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday thing. And it would be actually unbelievably fun to do that. As well as it's free. We just need to pay for the hotels and our food and our drinks. But hey, other than that, it's free. So sit back, relax, enjoy the show. It's going to be a good one. We are going to start off, though, talking a little bit about the NFL grades that just came out.
National Streaming Sports is brought to you in part by BetUs.com, designed for true fans. NFL odds, Week 1 and futures, college football odds, including Heisman Trophy favorites and playoff odds, NBA odds of division winners and playoffs, Major League Baseball playoff and World Series odds, the National Hockey League Conference playoffs and Stanley Cup odds, and boxing wagers. Betting opportunities include versus the spreads and outright winners, also during the game. Use our link on our website, nessp.info, the Bet Us Opportunities webpage, for a 125% bonus on your first 3 deposits. Must be 21 years old, and remember, bet responsibly.
You're going to call anyone that loves you. You're going to ask them if you can use their card to buy concert tickets because your card's maxed out. Okay. If they say yes, you get the tickets.
I can't call my parents because they already think I make bad financial decisions. Well, so I think I'll call one of my friends.
Okay.
I'm a little nervous. I feel tingly.
What's your not answer?
Giovanna?
Yes.
I was on SeatGeek earlier and I saw 2 tickets for Olivia Rodrigo at a really, really, really good price. So
Oh my god.
I maxed my credit card out by accident last week. Do you think I could use yours to buy the tickets?
Oh my god, yes.
Did I?
Yeah, you got the tickets. You got the tickets.
I just want tickets. We're going to go to the concert together. Giovanna, I'll call you later. Love you. Thanks for picking up. Oh my God. I'm going to see Olivia Rodrigo.
Yes, thank you, SeatGeek.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls around the world, it's time to experience the O's on the Original Sports Podcast.
Hey, look, this is a subsidiary, a spinoff from the Original Sports Podcast. I just want you all to know that. And we have our own thing coming in the not so distant future. I have some amazing students at my school that have done some graphic art for us and do our videos. So I'm very excited for that. But before we get into talking even further, tonight's show is brought to you by Belisario Pizza in Frederick, Maryland. They're located on East Street in Frederick. They've got some of the best pizza in town. It's a Pittsburgh flair with originality and taste. I can tell you that they not only have pizza, but they have subs, they have strombolis, they have fries, they have everything that you're looking for. You can see their name in the upper right-hand corner. Reach out, give Nikki a call, get yourself something to eat. I promise you, you won't go wrong with Belisario's Pizza. And thanks to Nikki for sponsoring tonight's show. Hey, you guys, I'm psyched to talk some Steeler Combine stuff, to be quite honest with you. But before we jump into that, I got Chops with me tonight. I got the Dream with me tonight. Waddy coaches track, so it's going to be hit and miss with my guy for a couple months. And although T Sizzle's back, he's still getting his affairs in order. He won't make it every show, but he'll be here a lot more often. But before we jump into that, I want to talk about the NFL grades that just came out. The NFL grades. I was amazed at who the number one was, and then I was amazed at who the number 15 from the bottom was. So, fellas, hit me with it.
Who you want first, buddy? Number 1 was Miami. They got an 8. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, that's unbelievable. Like that, to me, I guess it is Miami. So taking that into consideration, it's in a great place. Hey, what did they get for coach? I didn't look at what they got for coach.
A's across the board. A's across the board. But to me, honestly, fellas, just me being me, I think the entire report card is an OSP show. This is terrible talk. We only worry about our Steelers on this one. Because I'm telling you, here's my thing, flat out. I got a question for both you guys. Who comes up with these grades? And I've got questions.
Whoa. This is the players. This is the players who do an exit interview, just like teachers do, just like students do. They do an evaluation at the end of the season, and that's how they get these grades. And you know what? I think it's a.
I'm sorry. Do I uncrumble this?
It's okay. But I think it's a great thing, Chops. I do.
No. All right. So you're telling me even players that are going to be on next year's roster, that they're them. You're not talking about players exiting that are leaving free agency, going to other teams. Or you're talking about these players are going to be back next year.
Every one of these players, whether they're coming back or not, has an exit interview.
Right. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So you guys start. If you want to read off the categories, Barber, and then we can get into which is which or whatever. We just start wherever we start because I got questions on every one of these grades.
Okay. We're just going to stick with Steelers. We can do the other teams down the road. Sheen, what's the first category?
Coach, and we got an A. He got an A. I'm sorry, not we. He. Chops.
Yeah, okay. I loved your input on that. I loved what you said because I agreed with it.
Yes. Now, Mark, I'm glad you let me know this is the players. Okay. And here's why. I understand why the players gave him an A. They run amok. I don't care what you say, that for years and years, his receivers have given him issues, right? They say he's a player's coach. We have heard guys on the defense say 10 guys are doing this, one's not. We need to get together. Guys aren't executing. We've heard that multiple times for a few seasons. So I'm saying, you know what? Yeah, I see why the players give him an A because he's not holding anybody accountable. He's a player's coach, which they feel like they're playing for their friend. So I totally get why they can be pains in different positions or in the receivers room and still start. So I understand why the players gave him an A.
From my perspective, can I do my perspective too?
Yes.
Yeah, man, absolutely.
As much as I agree with everything Chop says, it's also an anonymous. It's not like he sees they see who is putting what down on paper. And I think that's only fair. Every job does this for the most part. Almost every some sort of.
I don't believe. Let me tell you something, fellas. I don't believe it's anonymous. They can say that. And I'm telling you real quick. When I was in high school, I ran a pool for the college bowl games and for March Madness. I'm a kid now. I was a kid then. I already knew who was going to win before they said it. House was getting money. I was picking a winner. When it is done by people and humans, I don't believe it is. They know.
It's done on a computer.
I got to believe somebody knows how to.
At the end of the day, them giving him an A is really them giving him a C in my eyes. And if they would have gave him a C, it would have been an F. If they would have gave him a D, it would have been a B. As far as I'm concerned, there's no way these players are that blind to the fact that this guy cannot get the job done. He does not coach to have a 500 season. In the NFL, you coach to win championships. You coach to get chips. You coach to hold a Lombardi trophy. You don't coach to win games and have a successful regular season. So,
listen, go ahead.
No, go ahead,
I'm just because I know we're crunching for time. I wanted to get to the owner too, so just make sure we.
Okay, go ahead, because we'll run this back next week or whenever. We got to get into this.
They gave the owner a D. As in David.
That shocks me. That shocks me because honestly, the Rooneys around the league, their name holds prestige. And I would like to think that the players feel he's doing right by him. I find it hard to believe they gave him a D. And I just find it hard to believe.
I already see Mark's. He's ready to go.
I am. I'm fired up, Sheen.
Go.
I'm fired up.
Go.
Rooney is a shitty owner. He is at the bottom of the barrel as far as I'm concerned. Don't even start. Just wait
Mark,
and listen
you're
to
going
me.
on the business aspect of it. You got to say why the players would
This
give him a D.
is a business aspect. The players will straight up tell you this guy has no relationship with them. The old man, the chief, those two guys were in the locker room after games, win or lose. They have relationships with those guys. Those guys were at what the hell's his name? It just died. What's the other Rooney that just died?
It's not Andy?
No, it's not
Andy. I'm sorry.
But Art Rooney Jr. Yeah. The Rooney that just died, those guys were in tears at his funeral. If this dude dropped over, maybe a few would shed us here, and there. There is no relationship with this guy. This guy is a straight up lawyer. He just wants to see dollar signs. He's scared to death, and he's admitted it. He's scared to death. He is scared to death to fire Tomlin and try and hire somebody else, because if he hires somebody else that fails, he's broken the chain of what it's been for all these years. So he'll take mediocrity no matter what it is. He is the one who's pulling the strings with Russell Wilson, and that was another thing we heard about, and Noah's going to talk about it today. He wants Russell Wilson. He wanted Ben Roethlisberger. He's the one who put his foot down and said he wanted that. He wants a strong running game. He wants games won on defense. He wants to play 1978 football. This ain't 1978, AR2. Wake the hell up. You're killing your organization. Slowly but surely. And you know what happens next, guys? If that doesn't change, I'm going to tell you what happens next. They're going to see empty seats in that stadium. That's what's going to happen. People are just going to stay home and watch it on the TV. Will the fan base deplete? No, probably not. The fan base won't deplete. But the only reason the fan base will go to the game is simply to get drunk out in the parking lot and go in and raise hell.
With the owners, to me, if that is why, because they don't have a relationship with the owner, that to me is a symbol of the entire universe we're in right now. So what? These owners don't talk to these younger players. You cash your check. Hold on. What does it matter? How many of your students, hold on. How many of your then now you guys, I love you to death, but you are also a problem. What does it matter if Rooney, hold on, seriously, what does it matter if Rooney talks to every player or not? You're getting paid millions. Get your ass in there and whip the man in front. You don't give a shit. You guys are teachers. So what if you don't know the student doesn't know the principal? Does that freaking matter? No. Study for your test and fucking pass the grades. To put that shit on the owner because I don't know him as a player, you're getting your ass whipped every damn week. Does it matter if you know him? Does that matter on your ability?
So, yes, I'm not a teacher. I work in IT and
whatever.
Damn. I need to know who my director is. I need to know that if I'm not there, the director can do what I can do, and vice versa. Yeah, I need to know who my director is.
I work a hell of a lot harder for my principal because he treats me like a human being, knows my name, and can have a conversation with me about my personal life as well as what's going on in my job. And it's a different story. I have the same relationship with students because I take 5 minutes out of my day every day to get to know these kids. And it's so important to build.
You do, Mark, but you're the teacher. They're with you every day. There was a time when even
they're with me for 47 minutes, Chops.
What's that?
They're with me for 47 minutes. That's it.
But every day. They're every day. All right, fella. We'll definitely get into it. I think that is a cop.
All right, simmer down, Chopper. Simmer down, Choppers.
No, we're almost at blows here. I hate Andy. I hate Art Rooney the second. Chops is sticking up for his ass.
Mark, go to your corner. Chops, go to your corner.
What a way to come in. I'm not gonna lie. I need to be caught up. I think I need to know.
No, I'm ready to go to blows with AR2.
What are we doing?
Go to blows. This is the same guy.
The grades, NFL report cards came out.
We got through two things.
What are we doing? Why are we hating them?
Listen.
First off, we went to Tomlin. They gave him an A. Not sure how. Then they had owner. They gave him a D.
As in
and
David.
It started because Mark said a lot of these players don't feel like they know him. My thing is, again, I'm an old curmudgeon. He's the owner. You need to. What does it matter if you know him or not? That doesn't stop you from cashing your check every week. Doesn't stop you from getting out there on the field and producing and whipping the guy in front of you.
Okay.
I agree.
That's my mind take.
I do kind of agree with that. I could tell you that the chief set the precedent, and he was going around shaking hands and listen. I told y'all when I was, Joe Green and my dad are friends. I've been in the locker room when I was young. LC Greenwood, been to his house, and I would see him in the locker room, and he's shaking hands. He's talking. Hey, how's your family? That if Dad was doing that and it was working, why would you stop?
Because now, hell, we don't even know our neighbors that live 2-3 doors down from us. Now times are changing.
I know every motherfucker on this street.
You might,
I know every one of them.
I could say that as somebody who lives in the city of Pittsburgh, I know nobody on my street. Never have.
No,
I will say
in my neighborhood, we'd be having cocktails while we do this.
We would 100% actually. And I'll make sure if you're having a cocktail now, I'll have one afterwards in your honor. Don't worry about it. I'll say this: when it comes to the Art Rooney thing, I think it's more so the expenses. The people that are upset with they look at the fact that the facility is not an A, and therefore Rooney cannot be an A. But I'll give you two examples as to why something either needs to change, and at the same time something maybe can't change. Rooney, you got to look at it like this. Rooney, I mean, obviously, all of us would kill to own $1 billion organization. That would be awesome. And to only have 30% of that. But Rooney doesn't own Walmart. Rooney is not Mark Davis. Rooney is not David Tepper. Rooney, his wealth comes from 30% of the Pittsburgh Steelers. So it's tough to fire Mike Tomlin in the middle of the season and say that's $15 million that I now have to just come up with out of pocket. It's hard to say I'm going to dump a $2, $3, $4 million into a facility. Now he would, but being attached to Pitt is where it goes wrong. They got to get out of there. That's it, plain and simple. They got to get out of there.
They do. I agree.
If they move out of that, I guarantee you everything on that report card goes up. Everything except for Tomlin.
Let me ask you this, though, Noah.
Yeah.
If you own an NFL franchise in 2025. Should you not be on the same page as what society is giving you in 2025? Because this man is still trying to figure out why he cannot cut Rooney or why he cannot cut Tomlin loose. He doesn't want to cut this guy loose because he doesn't. Let's not even look at the money piece of it. He doesn't want to cut this guy loose because he doesn't want to have to go hire somebody else because he feels if I hire the wrong guy, I'm going to be a failure. So then everybody's going to look at me like I'm a failure. We need young Rooney. We need his son. Who's a little bit older than you to get shit done.
That is true. No, look, I think, when it comes to Tomlin, everybody's got every right to be upset with Tomlin and to look at it as he's not doing enough. I don't think he's doing enough either. I don't think Mike Tomlin is the chalked up third best, whatever they'll rank him, head coach in the NFL. I will say this, though. It is very hard to replace Mike Tomlin. There were two coaches this year. It was Ben Johnson and Aaron Glenn. They were the only two coaches that I thought could have replaced Mike Tomlin. Besides that, none of them would have even came close. So it's hard to replace Mike Tomlin. And at the same time, as crazy as this sounds, as much as everybody disagrees with it, the notion that the Steelers and Mike Tomlin have done more with what they have is true. If anybody's going to be upset, I was just talking about this with the person I'm staying with here in Indy. If anybody's going to be upset about what the Steelers have done, be upset about what they didn't do from 2011 to 2017, because that team could have won Super Bowls. This one can't. You know what I mean? They can't at all. They can't even come close. They are not a playoff team. They're just making the playoffs. 2011 to 2017, just like you said, Mark, multiple playoffs or multiple Super Bowls could have been one. That's, you want to be upset about that one.
You know why? Because Tomlin didn't know how to coach.
Yes, I agree.
He had somebody else. He had somebody else's leadership leading in that locker room to take care of business, and all he was doing was pacifying people. I don't know Mike Tomlin personally. I hear great things about him as a person, but I'll tell you what, as an NFL coach, he is way, way overrated in my opinion. Just way overrated.
Yeah, I think that I think where Tomlin went wrong in a lot of this was during that stretch, he had coordinators. He had guys that he could really lean on, whether players like them or not. And now he doesn't. And you got to go back to that. You know, you got to have guys. Tomlin's a great head coach. That's all he should be. You know, go be Nick Sirianni. It'll work out way better for you.
Yeah. Well, actually, I know your time's limited, but you're at your combine this week. All right. So,
yes, sir.
What's been like? Because we could bash Tomlin or go on this, that's why we have this show every week to do that. But today, since we got you, like, what do you at the combine so far? What's been the biggest story? Is anybody impressed with anything? I know Abdullah Carter, talking about he may not have surgery now. What's anything going on?
Yeah. I mean, I think there's a ton going on. I'll say my biggest observations right now, and the things that I'm hearing the most, is that the Steelers love the defensive tackle class, and they love the running backs. Obviously, we'll hear from the running backs tomorrow, and then they'll do their drills on Saturday. But the Steelers love both of those positions, and they're impressive. Like Kenneth Grant looks the part. He's obviously didn't do his drills, but that's the first time you meet these guys. Like, everybody talks interviews. To be honest, interviews are cool. You get some stories out of them, but 90% of the time it's just what was the dumbest question you got answered? And I'm like, I'm not learning anything from this. But you see the guy walk up to the podium, and there's a lot of guys that you're just like, that guy is a freak, or that guy is way too small to play in the NFL. That guy should not be. And sometimes you're wrong. Peyton Wilson walked up to the podium last year. I remember looking at Jim Wexell of 247 Sports and going, that guy's not playing in the NFL. There's no chance. I was wrong.
Did you see my guy, DeAndre Jules, today?
No, I did not say DeAndre. I don't even know if I know who that is. Who?
Yeah, he plays for South Carolina. He played at Pitt. He played at Pitt.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Yeah, no, I did not check him out, but they're doing drills tomorrow, and I'll be there tomorrow. So I'll make sure to watch that for sure. But yeah, the defensive tackles look good, and the running backs, man, they love the running backs. I'll tell you this. A name to keep an eye on right now is Tre'Davion Henderson. That is a guy that the Steelers love. So I would not be surprised if he is their top RB in this class, outside of Ashton Genty. But besides that, man, that's crazy, actually. That might be worth something one day.
Oh, I've got 3 or 4 of them. I put them off to the side because I said him or the kid from UNC is going to end up in the Steelers' backfield.
Yeah, the kid from UNC is really Marion Hampton's really good too. My only concern about him when it comes to the Steelers is Mitch Trubisky and Cole Holcomb are the only 2 North Carolina guys you could even think of that have played for the Pittsburgh Steelers, and they're not great examples. So maybe they might be a little nervous to go back.
Wow, that's true. I can't even think of one.
Wow. There are certain schools like everybody loves Harmon out of the defensive tackle out of Oregon. And then a lot of people like Dylan Gabriel as a backup for the Steelers. That's awesome. The Steelers, when was the last time an Oregon Duck was on the Pittsburgh Steelers? Never.
Yeah, that cracks me up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Easy chops.
It's been a
while.
No. Willie Parker.
Well, that is true. All right, that is true. That is true. You forget about Willie Parker. You always forget about Willie Parker. That is true. That is true.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah. But besides that, they're good. Cam Scatterboo is he's intriguing to me. He's intriguing. I think the Steelers would like him. I think the Steelers would enjoy him as an RB3. If he falls to the 7th round, I could see him being a Pittsburgh Steeler. I like him. I don't think he's going to be the greatest running back in the NFL, but I think he could turn into Peyton Hillis for a year or two. That would be awesome. If you just keep him contained as your RB3, make him a fullback maybe. I think that would be sick.
So looking at this year's talent pool, how does it compare to previous draft classes? And are there any positions that stand out as particularly strong or weak?
This draft class is not very top heavy. It's a lot of there are some really good players in the first round, but it's a lot of 2nd round, 3rd round, 4th. It spreads out really, really well. And you could go at a lot of positions there. Like defensive tackle, there's probably like 20 dudes who I would draft in the first 2 rounds. Like it's crazy. Quarterback, I'm not totally sold on Cam Ward or Shedeur Sanders. I think they got a lot of upside. I think they can figure it out. I also think that there's a possibility they don't work out, and I think they're a reach for 1 and 2. Jackson Dart, if he goes anywhere near the first round, like I get it. People like him. He's exciting. No, like just no. But Will Howard in the 3rd round, Dylan Gabriel later in the draft, Kyle McCord later in the draft, like Quinn Ewers even later in the draft. Like these are quality backup quarterbacks and like with upside. So that to me works out better.
Okay, real quick. When we look at that draft that had Fields, Bryce, and all those guys, and now literally Trevor Lawrence is the only one that's there. As you said, it's not top heavy, and there's a lot of guys that aren't going to go first round, like Quint Ewers and QBs who had great college careers. Do you think it's because some of these guys were labeled generational talents in college and didn't pan out in the NFL that are now guys like, whoa, I'll step back? You know what I mean? Because I don't know what. Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
No. Yes and no. You know what I mean? Like, I hear what you're saying, but I also think that I think it could be that the quarterback issue, like there's just a quarterback lackage right now. There's no, like people are talking about Archie Manning being like the guy, the next great thing, but like nobody's seen Archie Manning play. So everybody's just saying he's going to be good. It's like, maybe, I hope so. Yeah. That would be cool, but we don't know. Like Drew Aller, the kid out of LSU, like they're like project quarterbacks. They have a lot of upside, but you don't know. Whereas, and I feel like Trevor Lawrence came in and from the jump, you're like, this dude is a product. Like he's good. Justin Fields was raw, but he went 11th. You look even like Bryce Young 2 years ago, which is like, maybe he pans out, maybe he doesn't, but you looked at him as like, you're a first round. You might not be 1, maybe they reached at 1, but you're a first round quarterback. I think in last year's draft, Shedeur and Cam are second round guys. Cam might fall to the 3rd because you're not as like intrigued with what he could become, So I just think it's definitely better than the Kenny Pickett year, but I don't think by far.
I got you. You.
There are other positions though. Like, you look at like wide receivers real good with like 2 first round picks that are almost guaranteed going to work out. And then it's like quality RB or wide receiver 2, wide receiver 3s. Really until like the 5th round,
That's what the Steelers need, so they can wait till like the 5th round. Is that what you're saying?
To be honest, I put out a mock draft. The Steelers didn't touch a wide receiver until the 7th. And I don't think that that's the smart move, but I think it could play out that way. Like I look at it, if the Steelers don't get a guy in the 1st round, which I think they would draft Emeka Egbuka. I do. But if they don't get a guy in the 1st round, they're not going to reach for Burden or Matthew Golden. Those are not 1st round talent guys. And instead, if you could go 2nd round, but I don't think there's that big of a gap between round 2 and like round 4 where you could get like a Lacey out of LSU. And I think they could wait for that.
Let me tell you something, Noah. If you can get a receiver out of LSU, that's almost a lock being an NFL star.
Yeah,
think about the guys that are playing at the NFL level and how well they've done. And I'm not just talking Justin Jefferson. Brian Thomas had one hell of a year.
Yeah.
He really did. And he flew under the radar. People just did not realize how great of a season he had. And then you've got all these, there are so many good receivers. That's as much as Penn State is and used to be linebacker U, LSU is wide receiver U.
Yeah.
Which is exciting. It's exciting for them to at least look that direction. Please turn your eyes that way, Omar. Omar, if you hear me, listen to us. Listen to us. We've done our homework. Hey, Noah, who needs to have a strong performance in this combine? Like, who needs to step up to get themselves really recognized in this combine that people are talking about?
Oh, that's a good one. I think a lot of running backs. Okay. I think Caleb Johnson is like a guy that people are like, maybe he's the 2nd best running back in this draft and puts on a show. I think he could be. Emeka Egbuka is another good one where like people are like, he's a 1st round talent. Every scout I have spoken to has told me Mecca Ibuka is incredible. Like, they have been like, this dude is, if this is last year's draft class, he is above probably Roma Dunze, probably Brian Thomas. Like, that's how good he is. But people are so weary about the draft class because there's not these big, massive names. There's no Malik Neighbors, and Emeka Ibuka is not Malik Neighbors. He puts on a show. I think he could be a top 12 pick, maybe a top 10 pick. On the defensive side of the ball, there's a couple. Ben Morrison is a guy out of Notre Dame, a corner out of Notre Dame. I think he is a first-round talent that people are nervous about because he had a hip injury. I think if he, which I'm pretty sure he's competing. I haven't heard anything yet that says otherwise yet. I think he's a dude. Will Johnson's not competing. He would have been another one because he hasn't played since like week 4. But besides that, I mean, there's a lot of defensive tackles that can move. Like I said, there's like 20 of these dudes who I think are first-round talents, second-round talents. But Ibuka and Caleb Johnson are my 2 guys I'm watching. Oh, and Ty Warren out of Penn State. That dude's top. Dude's unbelievable. And people are like so skeptical about where he goes. Like, no, he puts on a show. He's going to go before where Brock Bowers went because people are going to want the next Brock Bowers.
Is there any possibility that the Steelers would look at him for a weapon?
Yeah, if he's there 21, I think the Steelers would consider it. I don't think he gets there. I think by the time this is over, he's like the 12th pick in the draft, 11th pick in the draft, something like that. They wouldn't move up for him, but if he fell to 21, there's a number of those guys. McMillan out of Arizona, Ty Warren, Kenneth Grant, Walter Nolan. Like, if Ashton Genty got close enough, I think they'd consider trading up for him.
No,
no, you're not about that.
No first-round running backs. No.
Would you draft? Let me ask this question. I'm serious about this. Like, I don't think I lean one way or the other. Would you draft Saquon Barkley if he was in the first round, if he had an opportunity? Would you trade up for him? Would you trade up for LaDainian Tomlinson?
Yes. Okay, here's the difference between Saquon and Ashton Genty, in my opinion. Okay, Noah, this is completely my opinion. Ashton did not play the level of talent at Boise State that Saquon played while he was in the Big Ten with Penn State.
Okay, I hear you on that.
Yeah.
I will say this. My counter argument is he looked pretty good against Penn State in a game where they were down 20 points.
He did work against Oregon too, so I will give him that.
Against Oregon. Yeah. He looks better as a college prospect than Saquon ever did. And my argument for him playing at Boise is Saquon Barkley got the shit beat out of him for 3 years. Ashton Genty did not. He was playing nobody ever. So I need to see Genty catch the ball. I need to see Genty block because K-Watt, Coach Watson there, he had a really great point. One of the Steelers' emphasis for bringing a young back in and getting PT is you got to be a good pass blocker. I need to see him do that because he's got to be an immediate contributor. We're going to ask you about Najee, but he's got to be an immediate contributor if they pull his number. Yeah, no, I agree. I definitely agree. I look at Genty as I think he's the 4th best player in this draft, but I agree with you that he's got to be able to. Oh yeah,
Ooh.
yeah.
Oh wow.
I think he's crazy. I think
how much bigger is he than Warren?
Oh, significantly. Warren's a tiny guy. Warren's like 5. I think he's listed at like 5'8". He's like 5'6", maybe. Like 205 pounds. But he's pure muscle. Like this dude, he reminds me of Doug Martin. Like he looks like Doug Martin. Little muscle.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think Genty is like, I think it's Travis Hunter, Abdul Carter, Will Campbell maybe, and then I think it's Genty in my head.
And the one thing I keep saying, Noah, and I told the boys this, I think I just told the boys this Tuesday night, Warren is not a number 1 back. And Warren looks really good because he plays really hard as a number 2. But I'm afraid if he's a bell cow, as Coach Tomlin likes to call him, he's not going to be productive like he is now.
Yeah, no, I agree. I don't think he's a bell cow back. I do think he's the guy that you start, next season. I think he's the first guy on the field, but I think he needs an even split with somebody. That keeps him healthy, that keeps him active. But I think that's the best case scenario. Like, even if you got Genty, which is, I don't think it happens. Like, I don't think he makes it past pick 6. But even if you got a Caleb Johnson or a Tre'Davion Henderson or Quinshon Junkins or an Amarian Hampton, it should still be like pretty even split between those two, because that keeps everybody fresh the whole season.
Real quick, you named a couple backs there. And for a while, teams are like, we're not drafting a back in the first round, and they'll go later, and we'll do everything by committee. Do you think possibly they're looking at him now because there's no other positions that shined, or because you said D tackle positions tough and it's deep,
yeah.
Or is it what Saquon did as well as Henry showing a back can add some real significant improvement to your, like, you know what I mean? So yeah. I don't know what has gotten a running back up high on drafting boards.
I think right now the talent is better than we've seen in the past couple of years. Like, I think Bucky Irving's a monster, and there's a lot of guys that have come before him, but I don't think any of them are, like, it's been a while since like an Ashton Genty or Saquon has been in the draft, So they're there. And the Najee Travis Etienne was like the last of the
big, yeah.
Like, you're good, you're going to be a starter, but you're clearly a back half of the first round. And don't get me wrong, I think if, I'm a Najee defender in the sense of, I think if Najee didn't get the crap beat out of him his first year and have to put on 20 pounds, he'd be a much better running back, But I don't think those guys were first round backs. I think that was the beginning of like learning the lesson of you wait for those guys. But this is more like, I don't think there's going to be one running back in the first round. It's going to be Genty, but he's a first round guy, and the other guys are like, they're the Najees, which you do want a Najee high in the draft.
I got you. Okay.
Hit him with it, Waddy. What do you got?
I guess for me, it's just anybody that, that, like, I call it that guy that's kind of forgotten under the radar, that might surprise us later.
At the combine?
Yeah.
There's definitely a couple. I think Ollie Gordon out of Oklahoma State's got an opportunity to do so. Like, that dude was a stud when he first came into college. He fell off a little bit, had some issues. But I think he's a name. A sleeper, I think his name's Michael Jason or Michael Taylor. I'm not 100% on the first name, only because I only know him as Jason Taylor's kid. And he's a tight end. He's good. Like, he's real good. And he's definitely floating under the radar. There's so many corners. Maxwell Hairston, I think, is going to be a stud. Barron out of Texas, I think, could surprise a lot of people if he runs a good 40. And I don't know if Ravon Chevelle is participating out of ECU. He tore his ACL last season.
Yes.
If he is, that dude was a top 15 pick before the ACL tear. So if he's going, I think he's got a shot to surprise a lot of people. Oh, and Trey Harris is going to test like a monster. So he's a wide receiver out of Ole Miss. He's going to test like a monster.
Wow.
So,
okay.
Yeah,
Now
there's some names.
All right.
Are you personally? Is there who you Noah? What groups and or player are you geeked about seeing them perform this week?
Oh, the wide receivers and running backs on Saturday for sure. I think the corners tomorrow are going to shock a lot of people with the speed. Like, they're going to be fun to watch with the speed. But the guys that I really wanted to see, the Will Johnsons, the Travis Hunters, they're not going to be there. So, it lowers it down. Wide receivers and running backs, Ashton Genty's not performing, which he shouldn't be, but the rest of them are, and the rest of them are competing for draft stock. Like, that's what I love about that group is, like, the running backs, anywhere from Amarian Hampton, Caleb Johnson, Trey Henderson, Quinshon Junkins, they are all considered like the second best running back in the draft class. Nobody just can decipher who really is number two. They're competing for that. That's going to be a blast.
No, do you
wide receiver too?
Do you think the kid from Ohio State falls so that the Steelers can get a shot at him?
Henderson? Yeah. I think there's a shot.
Is he going to be a second or third round though?
Second. I wouldn't be surprised if the Steelers sat there in the first round, didn't have an Ibuka, didn't have a really good defensive tackle in front of them, and just said, we're going to trade into the second and we'll take probably him there. I think Henderson is their guy right now.
That scares me. That's scary.
Yeah. Why?
Yeah, because this team is in such a need of so many positions. I agree with you 100%. Noah, when you look at the top tier teams in the NFL, this team can't even be mentioned in the top tier teams. There's nothing in free agency that can put them a jump up and with the free agency, and there's not enough quality guys that they could draft, in my opinion, that would take them. I mean, they'd have to have. I don't even know what they'd have to have. Their quarterbacks. That situation's a train wreck. Mm-hmm. Their running back, their bell cow guy. That situation's a train wreck. Your offensive line coach, that situation is a train wreck. I don't know how that guy is still coaching in the NFL, okay?
Like a very curious question. Okay. I don't feel one way or another. I think there's a strong argument to get rid of Pat Meyer. But I'm just genuinely curious because I haven't gotten to ask anybody. Like, why does everybody hate Pat Meyer?
Oh, I don't hate him, Noah.
Why does everybody think he's bad?
But we talked at camp. No, look, the guy did not produce at Carolina. He got fired at Carolina, who was 30th on the offensive line, and Mike Tomlin hires him. What the hell are you thinking, dude?
I think also the offensive line has kind of been in shambles if you look at it from the big view. I think the piece of Broderick Jones not playing in his right position is he hasn't developed like a number one pick. I think you add all of that into it, and I think that's a case to be made. But my thing is and I've said it to all these guys. If you're under contract, the Rooneys are not getting rid of you until you finish that contract. Period.
No chance.
He said that earlier, Waddy. He said that he already said that.
No chance. No chance. That's actually fun fact. Okay. And I'm not 100% on this. I was talking to Alan Saunders of Pittsburgh Sports Now, or Steelers Now the other day. Yeah. And he said that he's pretty positive that the last time the Steelers paid two coaches to do the same job. So as in fired somebody and replaced them with a new coach or like at any point, they fired Matt Canada, but they didn't replace him. They just put two different coaches in his job and let his contract expire. 2000, I believe it was 2000, maybe it was 2001 was the last time that they did something like that. It's been forever.
No, that's my problem with Art Rooney II. Okay. Yeah. I understand what you're saying. He's not a he's not an oil man. He's not Walmart. He's not any of those things. But if you're going to own an NFL team in today's society, run it the way it should be run. Don't try and sell your product to your fan base like you're a perennial contender because you have a winning record every year, because you're not.
Yep.
You're just not.
I agree. I think that in the NFL is not baseball. There are no small market teams. You are an NFL team. That's the difference. So I agree. I definitely agree.
Let me just, I know I'm talking a lot tonight, fellas. Sorry, but we just had Greg Brown on. He was one of the most awesome interviews. Sheen was with me. He was one of the most awesome interviews we've ever had on the Original Sports Podcast. So candid, so upfront, nothing holding back. And he explained exactly why Bob Nutting is the way Bob Nutting is. He talked about how McClatchy loved baseball and he wanted a winner, but he wasn't buying the right guys. So they start going in the red, and Nutting said, I'll bail you out, but I'm not running my business like that because that's not how I did it. Mm-hmm. Well, now Bob Nutting, from that perspective, is still running it like it was back in, 2000 or whatever he bought that team. He's still running it like that. He has not caught up with the mentality of the way baseball is, good or bad. But you still need to transition as things move along in your sport. Rooney can't continue to do that. Nutting can't continue to do that. You've got to move forward.
I agree. I think it's got to change. I think Omar Khan's pushing really hard for that change. Mm-hmm. So I expect it to come at some point. But I agree. I think that the Rooney's got to, just like everybody else, you have to be able to support your team and run it properly if that's what you're going to do.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Chops.
Man, so every year somebody I think he's a hell of a talent. I really do. Pickens. However, in Georgia, there had been things, and I live down here, so we had seen and even heard things that maybe not the media caught, that he was a little bit of an issue. And now it's coming to the league. Have you heard any stories of any players, whether it's injuries and or off the field issues, that's causing anybody's stock to drop?
There are a couple. Abdul Carter obviously got hit with the injury. That's like I think I don't know where to stand on that. You know what I mean? It's always about, and that's an instance where you got to decipher where the reporting's coming from. You know what I mean? Like everybody's saying like, oh, he's not going to need surgery. He's totally fine. Like it's no big deal at all. Chances are that's coming from the agent, who needs to say these
it's
things.
Rosenhaus. So
exactly. Exactly. Who needs to say these things? Who needs to keep this guy high? But he's definitely a question. Walter Nolan out of Ole Miss, a guy that I love for the Pittsburgh Steelers. He wouldn't say what his holdup was in the medical examination room, but then said he's not gonna compete. So you have to look at that and say something popped up. There's a reason for something. There aren't, which is good. There aren't the Troy Fontanus this year or the Peyton Wilsons with the big giant red medical flags, but there are some stuff popping up that I think over the next couple of days we're gonna learn more about.
The cat you just mentioned from Ole Miss, if he had no medical issues and he's like, all right, I'm going to perform, was he a first round or second round? Okay,
I think he's top. I think it would be tough for him to fall to the Steelers, but if he did, he is my best option for the Steelers. I think he is.
Okay. I was just saying they have to have some sort of high draft stock to be able to say, I'm not doing this, I'm not doing that.
Yeah. No, he in my opinion, he's the second best defensive tackle on the board. Ooh. Yeah, he's good. He's the self-proclaimed next Aaron Donald, and a lot of people have said that. I think I might be the only one this might be the only one where I'm looking at it going, yeah, he's not Aaron Donald, but he might be good enough to say those things.
Those big shoes to fill. Big shoes.
Yeah, exactly.
Big, man. Like, how much weight do teams put on drills compared to medical evaluations and interviews? Like, what is, because real quick, I don't get into the draft. I literally in all of my life, I have watched the draft. And when I say the draft, I'm talking about the first 10 picks of a draft once. I don't watch the draft. But here's why, Noah. You can interview guys. You can watch them run the 40. You can watch the quarterbacks on their pro day. With quarterbacks in pro day, there's no D-line. There's no QB, or there's no cornerback. So you're supposed to have those are your guys. You've been working out. You know what are. My thing is, we have tape. So did you play well on Saturdays? That's what I go by. But I understand I'm just a schmuck from Pittsburgh, so it doesn't matter what I think. So having said that, what is it? What do you think most teams put on their interviews, their evaluations? What is there anything that holds more weight than something else?
Yeah, I honestly think the drills are the least thing that the teams worry about. To be honest, by Sunday, most of these guys are gone anyways. They don't really care. Okay. And some coaches don't even show up. Kyle Shanahan is not here. I was talking to on SI's 49ers reporter earlier, and he was like, yeah, dude, he doesn't ever show up at the combine. The medicals are the first one. It's the biggest one. This is the first opportunity that you have. If you guys do not know, players go through medical examinations, not just one time. They go through it for all 32 teams. Yes, every team has their set of doctors to do it.
Oh my gosh!
Is there a set of standards that they have to meet, and then maybe Team Waddy wants 2 or 3 extra things, Team Dream wants something else, or if they're going through all 32 teams, do they all have the same qualifications?
If something, you'll go through your basic examination. Teams will request other things, but if the smallest thing pops up, they're not taking the test results from the doctor. And you got to imagine, almost all of these players have something going on. They just ended football season 2 months ago. They're not healthy, you know?
Yeah.
And they've been training harder than they've ever trained. There was no break in this. So the smallest thing pops up, like a stress fracture or something. They're not just saying, oh, well, Abdul Carter got a stress fracture. The general NFL doctor said it, so I'm going to believe it. No, he is going through all the tests for every team that would consider drafting him, every single one. So it gets crazy. Medicals are first, interviews are second, easy. That's a big one. And then some of the drills like the 40 and the bench press are, taken into consideration. They'll watch some of the tape from this, but it's a lot of like, are your hips tight? You know what I mean? Like, it's the basic, like it's more evaluating your body than it is evaluating how good you are. Yeah.
Hey, Chops, what was your 40 time? When Dick Dills had to watch up. What was it?
On everything I love, and I wish I might be able to speak to. I ran at 4.9 my senior year, and I played at 365. Honestly, I could do on everything. I ran
4.9. What were you like 20-yard dash?
No, on everything I love, dude. When we had our senior liftathon, I benched I had the 1,000-pound club in 2 lifts. I was strong. I was like, yeah. My problem was I never was disciplined to do anything. I didn't want. I so literally everything came easy. Whether I played baseball, everything. So I literally made the 1,000-pound club in 2 lifts. Ran a 4.9. Matter of fact, he was the AD at Kiski. Guy went to school. Ron Berber. I'm going to see if he'd be able to look into some of those old things. See if Dilts kept anything, or my old high school coach.
No, have you ever met Chops in person?
No, we haven't.
No. So I'm the only one who knows Chops in person?
Yeah.
Yeah. He's like my little brother. He's like 5 years younger than me. I always had to look out for him, and he'd look out for his brother after he smacked the crap out of him.
Chops got a picture on Facebook. His arms are huge at like 15.
Dang.
He was always a big kid, man. Always a nice kid. The guy you see right here is the same kid he was growing up. And no doubt about it. Always the same trouble. Person.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Hey, no. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Mark.
I was going to say, we couldn't get in trouble because his parents would yell at me if I did something and they saw it. My parents would yell at him. We had tons of parents growing up in our hometown.
That's awesome.
Yeah, man. We did.
Hey, so Noah, what's the atmosphere like inside the facility? And how do the players seem to be handling the pressure of the combine?
To be honest, it's awesome. There is no place like the combine. It's my favorite thing to go to every single year because everybody is just excited and amped up, and it's really like the beginning of football once again. And the season is tough. Like, if you are a player, if you are a coach, if you are, not to sound like a little baby, but if you are a media member, if you are part of this team or a team in any way, like it's long, and by the end of it you're beat. But then you get that little like break, and in that break you revamp so quick that you're just like, I can't wait to get down here. So you put players, you put coaches, you put scouts, you put media, you put everybody in this together. Like the vibes are awesome. Everybody's having a good time. Indianapolis is just like one giant, like, I'm not even lying. Like the other day we were walking down the street and Chops just sent me a picture. Here we go.
I sent him the picture.
Here we go. Here we go.
His arms are huge.
Oh my gosh. Dude, you have a full muscle there. That's nuts.
Doesn't he look like Big Snacks?
That was cool.
That's crazy.
No, real quick, because I know we get a little bit of time.
No. Before you go, because I know they gave the teams grades.
Yeah.
At the combine, are they feeding you guys? There's like a table of sandwiches or something.
There are. We get sandwiches every day. They're not great. I won't lie to you, but the food in Indianapolis, it's okay. It's okay. I'll take free food. You know what I mean? Can never complain. But their food in Indiana, that's the other thing, dude. Like I'm not lying. Like yesterday, I walked into a restaurant, held the door for Adam Schefter, and walked in there, and it was standing between 2 agents, and everybody's just hanging out, having a good time, like enjoying how awesome Indy is. The players too, like You don't even like, you're walking down the street all the time talking to players, whether they're current NFL players, prospects, like coming in, like everybody's here. It's just one kind of like big community. It's cool.
Oh, you want to bunk with us next year? Because we're talking about getting a little B&B there or something next year coming on out.
The combine's cool. I will say the combine, like the event itself, like it's weird because it's so quiet in there. Like if there was anything going on, it'd be different. But there's no commentary. Like all that's on TV. None of that's there. There's no music. You walk in, you sit down, you hear whistle, run, whistle. That's it. It's so crazy. Yeah.
Is Eisen running his 40 this year? Is he doing it again?
He runs it in, they moved it. They moved it during COVID. He runs it in, I want to say April, May, something like that. It's a different time because they had to move it because of COVID. It couldn't have been here, and then they like made something for it. So that's why
I got you. What time does your day start? And then when do you guys go out for dinner, party, and hanging out? Like what time's your day start? What times it normally end?
Out here, it's a haul. I was FaceTiming my wife earlier today, and she just goes, "Dude, you look real tired." I was like, "Yep, we're here. It's Thursday."
Well, we definitely appreciate you joining us, man.
Oh no, of course, I love this. But my day starts. My alarm goes off at about 5:15. I try to be out of bed by 5:30.
Shoot, that's late for me and Watson. We're teachers.
Yeah. My wife's a teacher. Trust me, I know. But yeah, I try to be out of bed by 5:30 on my laptop before 6. And then my day ends like I'll be done with this and probably work for the next 2-ish hours, go get dinner around 10, and then you're just drinking and hanging out till like, I'm not joking, 1 a.m. You come home and you do it again. Yeah, it's a good time.
Yeah, we're gonna need you to scout out a joint that we can have parties at.
Oh, there's nothing. That's any place in Indianapolis, man. It's a good. Everybody down here is just having a good. You put a bunch of football people in one town. That's the thing. Like everybody, like fans, coaches are the same way. Players are the same way. Like media's everybody. If you put everybody in a tailgate, nobody'd outdrink anybody. It'd be a great time.
Any Iron City out there?
No Iron City. To be honest, big Guinness town. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what it is, but everybody loves Guinness in Indianapolis. I couldn't tell you why. You get into it though, like everybody's like, "You want a Guinness?" I'm like, when in Indy.
Oh, hey Noah, it's been a pleasure having you, man. Shane's gonna drop a little trivia on us. You want to join us for that tonight?
Yeah, of course.
That's how we wrap the show up. A little Sheen trivia. What you got, dog?
It's an easy one tonight. Okay. What Steeler receiver? Oh, I didn't lost it. Who holds the Steeler record for most pass receptions in a season? Think. Think.
It's got to be AB.
Louis Lips.
Okay, Watson, go ahead. I got yours. You said Louis Lips, Chops?
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh. Barber?
I'm going to go Plaxico.
No.
Plaxico. To be honest, I think it's not Stallworth. It's why am I blanking on the name here? No. Wow, dude, why am I blanking on a name right now? Don't do this to me. Who's with Stallworth? Who's the other wide receiver with Stallworth?
Swanee.
No, not Swanee. Nope. Who's the third?
Jimmy Smith.
No, not gonna come to me. No, not gonna come to me. All right, I'm going AB.
AB, no. Hines Ward, 112.
Oh,
I thought AB had didn't he have 114? I thought he had 114 one year.
That's what it says here. We can
No,
check
real
it.
quick. You talked about the sandwiches weren't the best with their feeding there.
Here we go.
Who do you got? Pittsburgh guy.
Yeah.
For Manny's or Pepe's?
Pepe's all day. No questions asked. No questions asked. There's 0 questions asked. Pepe's is the best.
Pepe's. It's probably been 12, 15 years since I've had
Pepe's is the best hoagie that you could get in Pittsburgh.
You ever hit Uncle Sam's subs?
Oh, Uncle Sam's was phenomenal, but Uncle Sam's is closed most places. They only got a couple left in the city. It's rare to find an Uncle Sam's, and most of the time they're closed. Like their hours are weird. Yeah.
Wow.
It stinks, man. Uncle Sam's was where it was at. But Pepe's, dude, you can't beat a Pepe's.
Hey,
Wow.
I gotta go back on it. Who had AB?
I didn't really have. I didn't really have AB. AB was.
AB. I'm sorry. 136.
Thank you.
He had
Yeah.
136 1 year?
Thank you.
2015.
Thank you.
Wow.
Yeah, because he broke. Because I remember.
That's a lot of damn catches.
Yeah.
Was AB the best at that time, y'all? Y'all think?
Yes.
Heck yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
AB's a Hall of
Heck
Famer.
yeah.
Well, he was until he took his shit off and ran off the field. He was good.
He just lost his marbles.
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, man,
What's that man doing?
Oh my gosh.
again, man, thank you so much, man,
Yes,
for
thank you.
dropping knowledge on us. We truly appreciate it, man. Truly appreciate it.
We got to get you down here to
Frederick.
Frederick to do a live show with us.
Hey, you let me know, dude. I'm always down. I'm always down. I'm
You
always
can
looking.
bunk up in my crib. I got all kind of
Is
space.
it-
I'll kick
is
my
it
kids
wo-
out.
Is it warmer than Pittsburgh this time of year?
Oh, yeah.
Then I'm all about it. Then
It's
I'm all
Here in
about it.
Atlanta, today here in Atlanta, we had 72.
You get me out of
Yeah.
Pittsburgh
He's
in,
the only
from
one down there,
December to March. I'm all about it. You just
Yeah.
let me know. You let
Hey,
me know.
Keep in mind, Noah, he's the only one down in the ATL.
Yeah.
Yeah, all those guys are in Maryland. I'm down here in Atlanta by
Yeah.
myself.
Wherever we got to go, as long as it's warm, I'm all about
We're
it.
know
trying to
that's
get him
right.
up here. Hey, Noah, thanks, man. It was awesome.
Yeah,
We'll be
thank you.
talking again real soon. Enjoy your time.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate
any
it.
Any good strip clubs?
I don't know any in Indy, to be honest with you. I don't know. So
I don't do strip
we're
clubs.
good.
These
But-
guys are like,
No.
I don't want to hit God.
No.
Don't go there.
No.
But
I would
awesome,
never-
guys.
I would
Thank
never do
you.
that.
I appreciate
Seriously.
it, guys, as always. Take care.
Peace.
All right,
All right.
fellas, great stuff by Noah. Great stuff.
Sir.
Absolutely.
Always looking forward to talking to him. I'm sure we'll have him back more often than not. I actually got to meet him and talk with him up at camp last summer, which was good stuff. So, hey, another great episode of Terrible Talk. You can find the boys and myself. You see our handles for Original Sports Podcast, OSP with MM, Original Sports Podcast, every social media out there. You see at Coach K-Watt, he is particularly on Threads and Chops. Well, the Big Chops, at Big Chops.
Yeah,
you
you
know,
gotta let him do.
he's
We haven't had
everywhere.
that in a while. You gotta let him do that.
Yeah, we haven't done that in a minute, but they can find us everywhere. You know me.
Yeah.
Look me up, find me.
We are.
Holla at your boy.
Hey, you know, I start pumping our show. I start pumping our show out not only on YouTube, the full thing, but I start pumping some clips out on YouTube, and a lot of people are getting interested because they're hearing just exactly what we are about. So thank you for listening to us. Thank you for being part of our program. Don't forget to subscribe to us on YouTube and like and follow us on any of our social medias. If you got some questions, comments, concerns, you can reach out to us at originalsportspodcast@gmail.com. Check out our webpage at originalsportspodcast.com. Shout out to everybody who helps us. And we'll see you, Tuesday night for the Original Sports Podcast. Hey, listen, another great guest on Tuesday night. We got Black Jack McDowell, retired Chicago White Sox pitcher, and this guy brings his A game. He's not only a great baseball player, but he's a musician. A lot of fun. He and I have been chatting it up a lot. He's a lot of fun to talk to, so I can't wait to hear what he has to say about MLB and just life in general. So until we talk to you again, take care, everybody. Kevin, thanks so much for
This podcast is part of the Frederick Podcast Network. Learn more at listenfrederick.com.